Hey, welcome to GameGen. So, if you're not familiar with 4X games, it's all about explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. Basically, building empires, exploring worlds, and taking over everything in sight. 2025 looks like it's going to be a killer year for 4X fans, with some seriously cool games on the way. Whether you're into space adventures or classic world domination, there's something here for everyone. So, let's check out some of the most exciting upcoming 4X games that you won't want to miss. Falling Frontier. First up, we're heading to space with Falling Frontier, a game that's part 4X, part RTS, and all about those sweet interstellar vibes. In this one, you're building your empire across procedurally generated star systems while managing supply lines, fleets, and strategy. Your fleets don't just magically show up ready to fight, everything runs on fuel, ammo, and supplies. Forget to plan, and your ships could run out of gas in the middle of enemy territory. Yeah, not ideal. It's a game where every skirmish feels personal because you've spent time building those ships and watching them grow. And with its absolutely stunning visuals and dynamic narrative system that reacts to your decisions, Falling Frontier feels like the perfect mix of strategy and storytelling. Birth of Cultures. Birth of Cultures focuses on the very early stages of human civilization. Instead of starting with cities and empires, you guide small tribes as they transition from nomadic lifestyles to the first great societies. It's a 4X game that's all about that slow, satisfying progression, discovering fire, learning to farm, and forming your very first settlements. What's cool about BOC is the attention to realism. The developers are focusing on the cultural evolution of your people, so every decision feels like it has real historical weight. The game's still in development, but it's shaping up to be a must-play for history buffs who want a more grounded, detailed approach to the 4X genre. Fragile Existence. Now, let's talk about Fragile Existence. This one's a unique take on the 4X formula, combining survival and strategy in a collapsing galaxy. You're not just expanding and conquering, you're trying to keep your fleet of refugees alive while dealing with limited resources and an unstoppable cosmic threat. The real magic here is in the balance between long-term planning and immediate survival. You're making tough calls about who gets resources, where to settle, and whether to risk engaging with enemy factions or avoid them entirely. The vibe is intense, but it's also super rewarding. If you like your strategy games with a heavy dose of heart and high stakes, Fragile Existence is one to watch. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel and lets me know you want more content like this. Alright, back to the video. Whiskerwood. Whiskerwood blends cozy village building with 4X strategy, but here's the twist. You're playing as a community of anthropomorphic animals. Think of it like Stardew Valley and Civilization had a charming little love child. You'll expand your forest village, explore magical woods, and defend your territory from threats like rival critters or mysterious forces lurking in the wild. The art style is adorable, and the gameplay balances lighthearted vibes with deep strategy. There's resource management, diplomacy, and even adventure elements where you send your furry citizens on quests. Whether you're uniting woodland creatures or battling for dominance, Whiskerwood feels like a fresh and relaxing take on the genre. Alliance of the Sacred Sons. Alliance of the Sacred Sons feels like a fusion of 4X, RPG, and political drama, and honestly, it's a pretty cool concept. You're not just a faceless leader of an empire, you're the emperor, living your life as part of the game. That means balancing your personal decisions, relationships, and the survival of your dynasty, all while keeping your crumbling galactic empire together. It's not just about expanding and conquering, you'll deal with court intrigue, manage powerful noble houses, and navigate tricky diplomacy, all while trying to avoid getting assassinated or overthrown. Every action has weight because time is limited, and so are your resources. It's like playing a mix of Crusader Kings and Stellaris, but with an extra layer of personal stakes. If you love strategy with a bit of role-playing and drama, this one's definitely worth a look. Sid Meier's Civilization 7. Up next, we have Sid Meier's Civilization 7. If you've ever wanted to rewrite history to see what happens when Gandhi gets nukes, well, you probably know this series. Civilization 7 is taking everything we love about building empires and giving it a fresh twist. This time, the focus is on making the world feel more alive. Cities are no longer just static hubs, they adapt and evolve dynamically based on the geography around them and how you play. It's all about creating civilizations that feel truly unique every time. Plus, they've dialed up the diplomacy system, making it more intuitive but still full of those tense negotiations and betrayals we've all come to love. And what about multiplayer, you may ask? Oh yeah, it's still got that perfect mix of competition and chaos that'll have you and your friends arguing over alliances and sneaky backstabs. Heart of the Machine. Heart of the Machine. And wow, this one is really unique. You play as an emerging artificial intelligence, and instead of leading a traditional empire, your goal is to take control of a bustling city and manipulate its systems to grow your power. It's a 4X game where you're the machine pulling the strings, and every decision you make shapes the city and its inhabitants. What makes Heart of the Machine stand out is how it flips the usual 4X formula. Instead of commanding armies or fleets, you're hacking into systems, influencing people, and using their decisions to expand your reach. The art style is gorgeous, with a sleek cyberpunk vibe, and the narrative is full of ethical dilemmas about AI, humanity, and what it means to have control. It's a fresh take on strategy that feels both innovative and thought-provoking. For the Stars. Next up, we have For the Stars, and this one's a proper 4X sci-fi epic. The premise? Your faction is one of many competing to colonize the remnants of a dying galaxy. But here's the kicker. Resources are scarce, and every decision feels like a gamble. Expand too quickly, and you'll spread yourself thin. Move too slow, and rival factions will snap up the best planet before you even get there. The visuals are stunning, with vibrant nebulae and massive space stations that bring the galaxy to life. There's also a heavy focus on diplomacy. You can form alliances, betray your allies, or even sabotage your rivals from the shadows. If you're a fan of high-stakes strategy with a bit of cutthroat politics thrown in, For the Stars is one to watch. Beyond Astra. Beyond Astra is a game that's all about exploration and storytelling. While it's firmly a 4X game, Beyond Astra leans heavily into narrative-driven gameplay. Each planet you discover has its own backstory, mysteries to unravel, and choices to make that impact your civilization's path. What's really cool is how this game blends classic 4X mechanics with immersive role-playing. You'll still manage resources, develop tech, and expand your empire, but every encounter feels personal, almost like you're living the story of your own civilization. The game's AI also adapts to your playstyle, so no two campaigns will ever feel the same. It's the perfect mix of strategy and storytelling for those who love diving deep into a game's lore while conquering the stars. Yield: Fall of Rome. Alright, let's switch things up a bit with Yield: Fall of Rome. This one takes us back to ancient history during the decline of the Roman Empire. But instead of building an empire from scratch, you're trying to salvage what's left of one. Or maybe you'll tear it apart. You can play as the Romans desperately clinging to their crumbling empire, or as one of the invading barbarian tribes trying to carve out their place in history. The focus here is on dynamic systems. The empire's decay is inevitable, and you're constantly juggling internal rebellions, external threats, and dwindling resources. The real hook, though, is how every decision you make feels like a lose-lose situation, but it's so satisfying when you manage to scrape out a victory. Or just survive another turn. If you're into historical strategy games with a unique twist, this one is a must-watch. Capital Command. If you've ever wanted to command a massive starship and feel like the admiral of an epic sci-fi fleet, this one's for you. Unlike traditional 4X games, Capital Command puts you in the thick of the action, where you're not just clicking buttons on a map, you're actively controlling your ships in real-time battles. The focus here is on tactical combat, resource management, and making split-second decisions as you fight to keep your capital ship alive in the chaos of space. It's got a sleek minimalist design that emphasizes strategy and precision over flashy visuals. Plus, every battle feels high stakes because one wrong move could cost you your entire mission. Whether you're defending your fleet, managing repairs mid-battle, or planning your next jump, Capital Command delivers that intense, edge-of-your-seat experience that's hard to put down. Liegecraft. Liegecraft, a medieval 4X game that's all about building loyalty and managing relationships. This game stands out because your success doesn't just depend on your resources or military might, it's all about trust. You'll need to manage feudal lords, knights, and vassals, each with their own personalities, ambitions, and of course, grudges. Will you rule with an iron fist, or foster loyalty through kindness and alliances? Betrayal is always a possibility, especially if you neglect your court or fail to maintain your relationships. The game has a beautiful, almost storybook art style, but don't let that fool you. Liegecraft is as much about politics and intrigue as it is about expansion and conquest. It's perfect for those who want a 4X game with a personal touch and a focus on managing people rather than just resources. Pixel Starships 2. Alright, let's talk about Pixel Starships 2, the sequel to the super charming spaceship management game that had us all building, battling, and strategizing in pixel art glory. If you're a fan of the original, this one cranks everything up to 11. More ships, more features, and way more depth. At its core, it's still about managing your own starship. You design every little detail, from the rooms to the crew assignments, making sure everything runs smoothly while preparing for intergalactic battles. But this time, the game has added even more customization options, meaning you can truly create the ship of your dreams, or nightmares, depending on your playstyle. Lands of Achra. In this game, you'll assemble a party of adventurers, each with their own unique abilities and backstories. The world of Achra is absolutely brutal. You're up against eldritch horrors, ruthless factions, and a landscape that seems like it's actively trying to kill you. Every decision matters, whether you're choosing how to equip your party, which factions to align with, or even which battles to avoid entirely. Combat is turn-based, but it's not just about brute force. There's a heavy emphasis on tactical positioning and managing resources. Healing and spells aren't unlimited, so you have to think a few steps ahead. Plus, some enemies are more like puzzles. You've got to figure out their weaknesses before they wipe your party. Atre Dominance Wars. Finally, let's wrap this round up with Atre Dominance Wars. This one is a futuristic 4X with a heavy emphasis on tactical combat. You're fighting for control over Atre, a planet rich in resources but full of hostile factions and harsh environments. What makes Atre stand out is its mix of large-scale empire management and highly detailed turn-based battles. When two armies clash, you don't just watch stats play out, you actually control the action on the battlefield, positioning troops, exploiting terrain, and using advanced tech to outsmart your enemies. The visuals are gritty, and the world building is deep, with every faction having its own lore and playstyle. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to leave a comment below if any of these games caught your eye, or if there are other upcoming releases you'd like to hear about. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more gaming content in the future. Thanks for watching.